Hey, it's Romy. Thank you for tuning into the channel. Welcome. If you're new, thanks so much for subscribing. If you are a Capricorn Sun, Rising or Moon, this is your reading for January 2020. It's a general reading, so it may resonate for you. If you'd like to join me for the extended, there is a link in the description box below that will help to support my channel and the work that I do. Thank you so much. Let's go ahead and see what's coming out for you this month. Okay, Capricorn, it's your birthday season. Moving into a very dynamic month in January 2020. Let's see what comes out for you. Okay, we begin your reading with Three of Coins. So energy coming through for me is almost you putting a new platform in place. You're ready to level up, you're ready to step up. You are one of the signs most affected by the incredibly rare alignments that are happening astrologically through this month of January. And you will have already felt the themes of this in your life as we've been building towards it for some time. The beautiful new moon eclipse that we had just the 25th, 26th of December, those energies still very much around as you move into the start of the month. So what has it brought about for you? There's almost this sense of wanting to create a new firm foundation for yourself. I get these themes of Capricorn energy, almost stepping forward and just saying, okay, this is me as a truth worker, you know, there's no more people pleasing. This is time for me to reveal my new self, to show what's changed, what I've learned, and to now really start to implement so much of the energy and that wisdom that has carried you through the last 12 months. We begin January with Mars in the sign of Sagittarius. So this is your 12th house, which is about the goodbyes, right? It's what you're wrapping up so that you can create space for the new collaborations, new ideas, a new sense of creative energy coming forward for you, Capricorn. We're working our way towards this really powerful full moon in Cancer, your polar opposite sign, which is also an eclipse. It's the pairing of eclipses. So the themes that came in the new moon are still being worked on. Now this full moon has a little bit more of a contrasting energy, right? We have an opposition with Saturn, Pluto and Mercury under this full moon of Cancer, hitting into your 7th house of relationship. So it does feel to me there is somewhat of a need for you to step up and assert yourself. Okay, there's a quality of this coming through as we build toward the energy of you being determined to create this new sacred energy that's around you. It's an identification of where you've held yourself back and an acknowledgement that that just is no longer tolerable in your life anymore, Capricorn. These are really big, profound changes that you're making. And I feel that as we approach this 10th, which then takes us into the bigger alignments happening on the 12th, 13th, this is about how are you standing up for yourself? How are you showing people what's okay and what's not okay? How are you prepared to really deal with this major change in identity, major shift, major shedding that's taken place in your world? So Seven of Wands has you poised and ready. And that's one thing I will say, you know, you're not shying away from this energy, I feel. Through the month of January, Capricorn, you've had enough preparation. People have been articulating these messages to you for so long that you know that these adjustments are coming in. And there's part of that energy of almost like, okay, bring it on, I'm ready for this. Because actually the last 12 months has certainly been that arduous climb, but you know what, I'm ready to just walk through this doorway, through this portal, whatever that means. And now that we have Jupiter in your sign, there is this sense of the expansion coming in, and perhaps even a little bit more of a lighter energy than what you may have been feeling, particularly the last few months. And with this, there is a sense of you needing to close off this cycle, really ready to close off this cycle, actually, ready to say goodbye, ready to allow that sense of healing to come through. On the 11th, we have Uranus moving direct in the sign of Taurus. It's been retrograde since August 11th in your 5th house. So maybe there's been quite a lot of chaotic, difficult, challenging energy in and around your romantic relationships, perhaps in family environments, or where you've been trying to get ahead with something and just felt that there was so many unexpected surprises or hurdles or things that kept coming up that you had to deal with, that you were just never given that clear, open road to be able to really focus on your own advancement, your own success, your own gain, or what it is that you truly desired. So with this shift and adjustment in energy, we have almost like a bit more of a calmness coming through, and the ability to just say, okay, this is energy I'm leaving behind. You know, in January, we still have that kind of slight hangover to the year before. So for some of you, you may be feeling in that early part of January that you're still dealing with so much of the fallout, or particular narratives that are still very present and around you. But I feel that you're already exploring what the new energy feels like, sensing your way into it. There's no doubt that the first couple of weeks in January are going to feel quite provocative to you. I feel like they're pushing you, almost like you may feel like you're being tested a little bit just to see whether you have changed, if you are going to start the year differently. And this is not from a sense of like trying to pressure yourself or force yourself into feeling or acting or thinking in different kind of ways, but I do feel that this contrast is really serving you, Capricorn. Certainly with 7 of Wands and now 5 of Wands coming through, for some of you there may be some challenges going on in and around relationships, and because that full moon in Cancer hits your 7th house of partnerships, relationships, and with all of the opposing alignments from a planetary perspective, you may well be feeling that you are on a different page. You are literally singing a different song. There is a different language taking place between you and somebody else in your world. But the way that the guides are presenting this to me is actually that this contrast is helping you to build this new platform for which you wish to operate, for which you wish to live your life. And so I actually feel that all of this kind of tension, all of this like bringing together and kind of really pushing you to maybe speak your truth, to really assert yourself, to stand up and be counted, to show other people what's okay and what's not okay, is actually going to be incredibly liberating and actually very healthy for you at the same time. So on the 12th, we have this Saturn conjunction in Pluto, first in your sign since 1518. So okay, a very rare astrological event taking place. How will that play out for you? I think you're already, Capricorn, aware of the theme or where it's been hitting you. You'll already have felt the squeeze. You'll already have felt the tension of this brewing for you. But now we get to the point of where it just comes up into the light to be healed. And actually, I really like this energy of the 3 of Swords coming through, because as I said, it's about a month of being this truth worker. In fact, one of the themes that came through for me before we began your reading was this sense of energetic integrity. It's like you are no longer able to operate in environments, in relationships, in situations that do not feel authentic to you. It is just no longer an option for you. And so in that acknowledgement, and as we move into this new energy of the year in January, you are very clear. I always have with the 3 of Swords, there's such a sense of powerful clarity that comes through with it. You are absolutely clear-minded about what has to change and where you want to change, or where something around you needs to change. So I feel quite almost like the cleanness of this energy coming through. It's literally just cutting through any of the chaos, any of the confusion. And of course these events, these planetary energies are going to be forcing you, you know, kind of almost like feeling like my back's up against a wall, but at the same time, like you're so ready for it. You know, that 7 of Wands energy for me says, you know, I will be victorious. I have the courage to be able to take this on, whatever's been presented in my path. And okay, there may be some aspects of this that feel unexpected or that still catch me unawares, but actually you're so kind of fleet of foot with this energy for me. You're absolutely in a place of wanting to progress, wanting to advance. So I don't have this concern about you having to sit back and take it. You know, 10 of Swords, 3 of Swords energy, these are really hitting into the intellect. They're talking to us about our thoughts. You know, what is changing in those aspects of the language that we use to ourselves? How are we prepared to clean out these old wounds that we've held perhaps for the last decade? You know, we're moving into new energy cycles. So the 13th, we have, first of all, Venus moving into the sign of Pisces, which is in your third house of communication. So this planet of love, this planet of looking at our material wealth, exalted in this beautiful sign, this water sign of Pisces, helping to bring a little bit more compassion in. Also helping you, Capricorn, to understand and appreciate what brings you comfort, and then being able to communicate that. So perhaps it feels a little bit of a soothing elixir where we have some harsher energies that you're having to really stand up and fight for yourself. So this Venus in Pisces also helping around the relationship things. So anything that comes up around that full moon lunar eclipse that gets revealed, that gets put out on the table in the full light of day to be dealt with, we then have the shift and the change of Venus moving into Pisces to have that conversation that perhaps allows you to then take it down and just have that more meaningful conversation about really what you want, really what your heart's desire is, making sure that other people are coming from a place of authentic truth themselves. And if they're not, back to this whole theme of energetic integrity, it's just no longer somewhere that you can be. It's just not a relationship or a situation that you can show up in anymore, whether this is personal or professional. But we have this full energy coming through because it is, for me, a beautiful alignment when we have under the 10 of Swords, something ends, something begins. And you're moving into that boldness, that sense of vitality and energy. And actually, as we come to the end of this long transit of Saturn in your sign of Capricorn, and we move towards the shift into Aquarius in the next few weeks, I do feel that you're going to start to have a profound sense of that weight being lifted, and ready for expansion, ready for the growth. And actually what all of these planetary alignments have definitely done, when we look at 7 of Wands, 5 of Wands coming out in January, is giving you this inner fight to say, I'm prepared to make the changes that I need to follow the path that I know is meant for me, and nothing is going to hold me back. The full having that boldness. Maybe for some of you it is about stepping out on your own and not really allowing anything to get in your way, and having to navigate those obstacles, both internally, because I feel that 10 of Swords, 3 of Swords is also about the fears that have held us back, where you've stopped yourself, remember, and being able to overcome them, being able to rise above that sense of inner conflict, being able to rise above the stories or the way that other people have perceived you, or where they've put you in a box, or where they've decided that they know who you are and what you're capable of, or what your next move is, or what to expect from you. I think you're going to surprise a few people through this month of January, Capricorn. You have gone through and are going through the most powerful metamorphosis. And even from your own perspective, I don't think you've really fully seen the results of that transformation. It's not until we move into the next few weeks and months that you'll really start to feel the harmony and the alignment coming into your world as a result of what you've experienced and what you've been through. So 4 of Wands energy coming in. For me, again, just talking about this creation, this building of a new platform coming through, a time of celebration for you, a time of acknowledgement, actually, just feeling a little bit more secure in yourself and secure about the way forward and the decisions that you're making. That's one thing I'm going to say for you, Capricorn. I feel like through the month of January, you are going to be feeling that every time you're making a choice, every time you feel an inspiration, every time you decide to write a new goal or set a new intention, every situation that you come up against that feels contrasting or brings up an old wound, or you feel like you're having to assert yourself or fight for yourself or stand up for yourself, all of it is going to feel so right. It's going to feel so honest. It's going to feel so meant. And that's really important. This isn't a month where you're meant to feel that you're on the wrong path. This is about you starting out 2020, which from a numerology perspective is a number 4 years. So we have this reflected in 4 of Wands energy. It is about us building that new solid foundation. It's linking into that beautiful Emperor archetype in the Fool's Journey that has the courage, the conviction, and the absolute knowing that anything I set my mind to, I am going to achieve it, because I've just been through this journey and I know what it's taught me and I know why it had to teach me this. So I think there's an awful lot of reflection coming into your world and an understanding, even if you didn't agree with what you've been through, even if it still felt harsh and at times unfair, there seems to be a deeper acceptance and acknowledgement from you about what it's helped to unearth within you. And for me, that's rich potential, limitless opportunity, that full energy to come in and be bold and have that sense of lightness and adventure coming through in your world again. So 10 of Pentacles energy, again, we're just talking about the sense of stability, security. Could be linking into family situations. So perhaps, you know, when we go through this holiday season that we've just had, it can unearth and bring up so many triggers for us. And you may have felt rather that you have had this kind of echo where at the start of January, you know, through to that mid-January, you're still dealing with things that you thought you'd kind of closed off a long time ago. You've had to reassert yourself. You've had to communicate once more what was important, how you felt, what mattered. And in doing so, perhaps it has been opposed to what other people believe is the right way forward for you. But in almost standing up for yourself again, or representing, or saying out loud, or recommitting, it just feels like you're really setting it in stone. I just have this, you know, incredible like earth kind of frequency that comes through that says, actually, yeah, I'm really aligned with this. I'm really aligned with what this means for me. And if this is about your own security, if this is about setting a new direction, putting something in place where you can actually allow more abundance to flow into your world. You know, for some of you, this might really be linking into family, home and location, you know, discussions about where feels right for you. Because remember, when we talk about this energetic integrity, it's also about where you feel your best, where you're thriving, where feels like home. I think this is the question that a numerology number 4 year asks us. Where do we feel safe? What feels like home to us? And then understanding that we have to make adjustments if we're no longer resonating with where we are. The 13th also brings in a Sun conjunct to Pluto in Capricorn. And for me, this is really giving you a bit of magnetism. You know, people are really listening to what you have to say this month, Capricorn. And beautiful, star energy coming through. There's a sense of you in your grace, in your fortitude of what you've been through and the journey, and your ability to cast out a new vision. You are laying these seeds of hope. You are showing others the sense of renewal that's possible. You are staying so true to what matters to you and the type of relationships and what you want in your life, that actually the energy that's around you at this time is incredibly beautiful, incredibly, really like attracting. So like people are being drawn in towards you in a very powerful way. 16th Mercury moves into the sign of Aquarius, which the star rules. This is into your second house, so it's asking, where are you committing? Where do you feel worthy? So this is really about, again, this acknowledgement, Capricorn, of the type of people you want to surround yourself with and what you value and who you value being around and what matters to you. We move in towards the beautiful new moon in Aquarius on the 24th of January. And by this point in the month, I have this sense of you just feeling a deep sense of peace. One, because we've come through these incredibly turbulent, contrasting, but very powerful energies. And you're almost like sitting in this kind of vortex of energy at this point in the month, assessing, adjusting, absorbing, but also feeling really like at ease with how you've held yourself, of the way you've communicated, And I think this is important, and you can't lose sight of this. So even where you feel challenged, even where you feel conflicted or pulled in different directions, you have to keep returning to that heart space that says, what is it that's right for me? Where do I need to move forward to really feel the balance and the harmony that I'm looking for? I think for those of you that are particularly focused in and around relationships, it is a very dynamic month, okay? This full moon in Cancer in your 7th house is a moment, a tipping point, if you like, to really see, is there a brand new beginning here, or is this a complete closure and a release and a letting go? Something has to change. You cannot continue the same contract. You cannot continue a wound to wound relationship with somebody. It has to evolve. There's no choice. You have to take it to the next level because you've changed. So has the other person changed? Have they been able to show up and be authentically true to themselves? Is there integrity in that relationship for you? I think there's the opportunity for a brand new beginning, but there's also the opportunity for you to really step out on your own and say, I need something different and I need something more, because what's coming is more stability, more security, surrounding yourself with people who really feel like soul family and putting new foundations in place that are giving you a more optimistic view of what the future could look like. Let's pull some oracle cards, see how they are reflecting this reading. Get the sense of you really releasing so many toxins as well through this month of January, not just from a kind of physical perspective, but just the energetic toxins. You know, there's just such a shedding taking place. So your oracle card coming through is pleasure. And yeah, I think it's an important question to ask yourself. What does my heart desire? What do I want? You know, in my moon musings for the new moon eclipse in your sign in December, one of the notes that came through was, what is it that you want? It's time to ask yourself again, because perhaps some of you might be operating on a narrative or a story or an intention that is out of date. You know, maybe this is something that you thought you wanted a year ago or 5 years ago, and all of a sudden, you know, you take the time to actually really tune in and really say, do I actually still want this? Does this really light me up in the same way? You know, what does it make me feel at this moment in time? What does pleasure feel like to me? You know, if I think about that and that vision in my world, who's in it? Who's in that picture? You know, who is this deer? You know, we're ready to walk through this new gateway. There are still steps to climb, so you're on that journey. But everything is blossoming here. Everything is coming to fruition. So who do you want to share that with? You know, who is the soul family? Who are the partners? Who are the key people? If we're looking at this reading from your work, from a business perspective, what you're doing in your world, this is about you absolutely creating these new foundations for yourself, coming into a time of increased creativity, a lot of dynamic, fast-moving energy. Don't you give up. This is the time to actually recommit, Capricorn. You're not a quitter anyway, just isn't in your nature. But this is a month that you will be stretched, you will be provoked, and what will come out, if you allow it, if you give yourself permission, is absolutely your best self. Letting go of anything that's held you back. Fruition, beautiful. So what do we talk about? Everything coming to fruition. Beautiful full moon, linking into that Capricorn full moon energy that puts a focus on those key relationships, key partnerships in your world. A little bit of a stormy sea in the background, so definitely more to navigate, more flow, heightened emotions coming through, and this understanding that we have to work for what we truly want in our life. And it's not just the physical work, we have to do the energetic work. This is what the most important thing is, Capricorn. This is what you should have learned through the year of 2019. How do I need to make the adjustments in my vibrational energy, in the way that I am intending, in the way that I'm showing up, in the energy signature that I'm leaving behind? Does it leave people with a sense of feeling rich and inspired and calm, or in a state of ease, or in a state of flow. Choose how you want to leave that legacy with the people whose lives you are touching, Capricorn, in all levels. And then you will start to see the bounty truly coming through. Beautiful robins here. So I think for some of you that need to receive that validation from spirit, and robins are important, that feels like it's coming up at this moment for you as well. Okay, Capricorn, I hope you have enjoyed your reading for January 2020. If you'd like to join me for the extended, we're going to go into this in a little bit more detail with a bit more focus around what's happening in these key areas in your life. So I'm going to go ahead and pull some clarifying cards. You can join me just by clicking on the link which is in the description box below. That will take you through to access the extended reading, which will be about another 20 minutes or so. So let's go ahead and clarify this Three of Pentacles energy for you. Okay, the card of Temperance, beautiful. Sagittarius energy, so perhaps on a work front, if you are dealing with somebody of Sagittarius, also talking about the divine timing coming in. And I think that's really important, particularly through this month of January with so much dynamic changing influences. Okay, Seven of Cups energy coming through with that Seven of Wands. Vibration of 7 being really important, linking into that beautiful spiritual truth. Remember we talked about that, truth worker. You are a light worker, but more importantly, you are a truth worker to yourself and setting the bar for others. Okay, we have Three of Cups coming through with that Ten of Swords. So they're actually turning their back on something here, so it'll be interesting. I feel like you're walking away, you're letting go of something, Capricorn. Someone or something. But it's going to make space for the new. Yeah, absolutely. Eight of Cups energy here. Okay, Five of Wands is bringing through the world. Beautiful sense of completion. Also ruled by Saturn, and I feel like it's really linking in with the fact that we're coming to the end of this cycle of Saturn in your sign. We do have a retrograde that will happen later this year. That'll dip back into Capricorn, but it will give you a chance to just tie up any final loose ends or things that you want to revisit at that point. But a beautiful sense of success to come through from that Seven of Pentacles. Yeah, it's like the divine timing of things, right? It could be another earth sign that you're dealing with here as well. Okay, Death, card of Death. Could be a Scorpio that we're dealing with regards to that Three of Swords, but I think there's also this important message about just the transformation taking place. Ten of Wands energy as well. Let's go ahead and clarify this Fool. Okay, Five of Cups. What is it that we need to let go of emotionally so that we can begin again? Are you giving yourself permission to? Ace of Cups. That's what comes out if you allow it. Okay, Four of Wands is bringing out the Seven of Wands again, and also the Page of Swords wanted to come out. So this could be a Gemini energy that's coming through for you as well. We'll explore that in a bit more detail. Also feel there's some messages coming through. What is it you're looking to achieve? You know, I feel this is something about an achievement to come in. So news about something that you're hoping for, you're waiting for, you're working towards. Okay, the Moon energy is coming through with Ten of Pentacles. So it could be a Pisces that we're dealing with here, or water sign energy. Okay, the Star is bringing through the Fool again, which is lovely, and also the Four of Cups wanted to come through. I'm just going to finally pull a couple for these Oracle cards. Beautiful. Six of Cups energy with pleasure. And Ten of Pentacles again, Capricorn, under fruition. Beautiful sign of abundance coming in there. Okay, if you'd like to join me for the extended, I'm going to go into a bit more detail about what may be coming in with regards to specifically relationships, family and work areas of your life. And otherwise, I wish you well. I will be putting out the annual readings through the month of January, so stay tuned for that. Thank you for subscribing and supporting the channel.